What's going on, guys? We're back here at Factory QRC for another video. Today we're going to show you how to mount a seat in an Outlaw Kart. Brandon LaChance is here. I am Chase Rodman, but Brandon's going to be showing us how to get the job done to put one of these seats in. Brandon, what are we going to need and what are the tools required for this?
Yeah, first off, excited to be back to making videos, and we're going to show a pretty lengthy, in-depth step to building your cart, and then just give you a little bit more ease and comfortability in building a seat. So first off, just tools needed. Normally any kind of quarter-inch wrench or quarter-inch Allen, half-inch wrenches, 3/16 Allen, drill and a 5/16 bit, impact as needed. And then for parts out of your kit, take your seat hoop, clamps. We already put these clamps on this hoop. There's the bottom for those. And then our lower seat mount, this inch clamp right there, bolt hardware, seat ears in the seat, and then we should be onto the car next.
All right, let's do it. All right, we know what we need as far as the tools and the pieces required. Brandon, what is the first step in putting a seat in an Outlaw Kart?
Yeah, first we're gonna grab our seat hoop and seat clamps, and then a quarter-inch Allen socket, and we're gonna install the hoop onto the frame.
So as you see here, we've got no cage, nothing really going on in the top part of this race car. Just kind of give you guys a little bit more room to see what's going on and help us installing it for this video and its purposes. So Brandon putting the seat hoop on, and where I think kind of one of the main questions we're looking at here is where exactly these seat clamps go on the frame here. Yeah,
pretty standard, and it'll fit kind of anywhere, but my precautions, I like to put this clamp, this seat hoop clamp here, pretty much equal space between this Nerf part spud and then where the frame ties in on this side, just to give you better pivot room, more so when you get the seat in the car in later steps. So we'll just snug all these bolts up now. Make sure we tighten the clamps evenly. That way we don't bind up your seat hoop.
All right, the seat clamps are tight. We're ready to go here. Brandon, what's next on this agenda here?
Yeah, next step is to take your drill and 5/16 drill bit and drill the holes through the seat clamps. We previously did that just before this video step, just to hurry up on time, and then take our bolts, nut, and washer, and then just run them through there, and then tighten them up ×2.
All right, so our seat hoop is all tightened down and ready to go. What do we got next?
Next, we'll take our lower seat mount and our inch shaft lock, and we'll simply slide that over. Keep that loose just for later reasons. We'll slide our lower mount over that bar right there. And we'll take our seat. It's a pretty tedious step, but super doable. All we're really worrying about here is getting the seat in the actual spot that we'll want it. And biggest thing is left to right placement, and then visually looking at your up and down movement in the seat. So biggest thing will come from the front of the car.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a good angle here as to where they should be looking. I'm no expert.
With the steering post in the car, you should be able to pretty much line it up. We'll move it around here a little bit. Line it up and get our left to right spot, so that you're pretty much getting a straight angle from the steering post to these holes in the top of the seat.
Okay. All right. Okay, we've kind of got the seat in the place that we think it looks best. Brandon, what do we need to do that?
Yeah, so just the real tedious stuff was, the left-right position, and then the pitch in the angle. And with your lower clamp, basically you hold this lower mounting spot to where you're not mounting your seat into the lower post. So be real conscious of that gap right there. And then if we go to the back of the car, as you're positioning the pitch in the seat, you can simply use a small roll of tape or a towel just to give yourself distance between the seat and the seat hoop, so you're not riding in there. And then, if we look farther back at it, your seat's in a pretty upward angle.
You don't want to be running the recliner?
No.
Definitely not.
Not a Sunday drive, this is a Saturday drive car.
Yes.
And then just, a little eyeball of your steering shaft to the middle of your seat, And then once that's taken care of, we'll just go from the bottom of the car, mark 2 holes on the lower mount.
And those holes are already there. You're marking up the seat
there.
right now, yeah?
Marking the seat, and then we'll pull everything out and drill it.
Cool. Okay, the holes are drilled for that lower seat mount. Now let's put the bolts in here and get that all set up. And what size bolts and nuts are we looking at here?
5/16 by probably an inch long. 1.25 perhaps, and then the washer and that full nut there on the bottom. I'll just mount this lower mount tight to the bottom of the seat, but until we get it in the car, we won't tighten it down with wrenches yet. We'll leave that loose. That way we can still pivot it into the car, and we'll go from there.
So this is what we're looking like right now. What do we got next?
Yeah, so after we slid the seat on and then got our seat in the best possible position, we're gonna take our seat ears, and then basically 2 precautionary things is that these rails will get you pretty close to where you need to be. So with this seat ear still straight, you know, right here, we're gonna have little to no bending on that seat ear. And same thing, while the seat's still in position, if we put another straight seat ear on this side, we're gonna have pretty minimal bending there. So these rails on these hoops are gonna get you in a pretty close spot, and then that allows you to know that your seat's gonna be pretty center in the car. So with this side needing pretty minimal movement, we'll throw these 2 through bolts in there, and you know, either a vise and a hammer or like a small press brake, you should be able to get yourself positioned in there and then drill your through hole.
I got our left side seat ear in place. We got the hole drilled.
So we're able to put that bolt in now, and right now is a good time to tighten up this seat ear at this bolt.
And we got to mention, you know, this is a 14-inch lightweight Kirkey Pro seat. If you've got, you know, even a 16-inch Kirkey or a LaJoy or an Ultra Shield, obviously the results, you know, they're going to vary. The way that this thing's put together is going to be a little bit different between every seat, right?
Yeah, the bigger seats and smaller seats, you'll run into some issues just by sizing it in the hoop and how much you have to bend the ears or not. But this is pretty standard in a Kirkey 14 mounting it. And then just typical what to look for in mounting the seat. So by having that ear tight, now we can go down lower as well, tighten down the lower mount at the same time, and then now we have these 2 sides fixed, and then we're not chasing our tail in seat position, and then as we're eyeballing the seat at the same time, just assure that the seat's going to be in the position that you want it to be in.
So right after we got that left side ear in, we're tightening everything on the bottom, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'll get that finished up and come right back. Bottom of the seats tightened up, the left side of the seats tightened up. Now it's time to get the right side, which is a little bit more tricky, right?
Yeah, so left side we used 1 seat ear to mount it, and we used one of our 4 3/4 ears, and we'll take a 4 3/4 and a 4 1/4. We'll mount both of those to the right side of the car. We'll start with this long one, and we'll go to the bottom here. We'll be able to mount it in 2 spots. Like this Kirkey lightweight seat, we'll be able to do 1 brace to the bottom, and then take, say, our other one and mount it to the top through that brace. So we'll just start here, and we'll make a slight bend to where our hole matches up to that side of the seat.
All right. Good. As you can see, our seat is still, you know, where we started at it with, nice and straight in the car. And as you saw, Brandon kind of bent this seat here. We still got the tape back here, trying to make sure we're off the seat hoop. Everything's clear there. Yeah. And we've got this thing nice and bent, right?
So we got this seat here bent. Now we'll just, you know, put it at a pretty regular height, you know, pretty close to the bottom, so we still give ourselves room to put one more ear up there. But just put that in place. Run that in, and then we'll drill a hole through it.
All right, our seat is pretty much ready to go here. Just want to kind of give it a little more insurance, right, Brandon? Get this final seat here on there.
Yeah, our seat's pretty much rigid, tight where it needs to be. Our lower mount's tight. Our 2 seat ears that we have in the car are tight. And I'd like to just add one more brace up top for just extra support. And, you know, so seat ain't gonna move anywhere else. So we'll just slide this ear into the rails and just, you know, a little bit more bend out of that, and then we'll be rigid and we'll be on.
Well, everything is tightened up. The seat pads are in. We've got our Kirkey seat inside of our Outlaw Kart. Brandon, just take it through us a little overview here of what people should be doing here, because obviously this is probably the hardest step of all of them, really, right?
Yeah, no, it's a very complex step in building your cart, you know, and it's one of them things that are going to be like this forever. So I used to be nervous about this step, but if you take it as each step at a time and, you know, watch through the video a couple times if you need, but just general mounting procedures, how to place it left and right and get the tilt in your seat should ensure a good way to be comfortable in your cart, as well as mounting it properly, but then just give a little more comfort in knowing that you mounted your seat the right way and that you're ready to go racing.
All right, let's take a look around this thing and see what people need to be watching for. Obviously, got the bottom seat mount down there, if I can get a good camera angle. Got the clamp down there, the 1-inch collar lock, and the seat bottom seat mount is all, you know, dialed in there. Obviously our seat pad's covering that, but everything's good down there. And then you come around the car and just one seat ear on this side. We got plenty of, you know, room between the seat hoop and the seats, not rubbing anything, not taking our powder coat off. 2 seat ears on this side. And, you know, Brandon, you're the expert. What do you think is the hardest part of this whole thing?
I think just the overall getting your seat lined up like you want it and need it to be, and then you know, finding the best way to bend these ears so that, you know, it's pretty gradual bends and you're not doing anything overzealous in the way you mounted it, and just making sure that everything's pretty straight and normal like it should. Just the rails in these hoops should help you out with a lot of that, and that they're generally going in the straightest point possible to get your seat as straight as it should, and then just, you know, get yourself between the seat hoop and the steering post and onto the pedals.
All right, guys. Thanks.